Good morning. This is John Beard with the Port Arthur Community Action Network, and we're here in the Vista subdivision of Port Arthur at the intersection of Pine Street and Maple Avenue. And behind me you see one of the many storage tanks that are here in this area. And we're here to meet with representatives of the Department of Energy, including the Secretary of Energy, Jennifer Granholm, to talk about the environmental injustice that's being suffered by communities here and in Port Arthur and their impact of the petrochemical industry on the lives and health of people here, in the hopes that we can get some relief and also to help with the energy transition to make our homes warmer in the winter, cooler in the summer, and more energy efficient, to look at using wind and solar, which are free, to basically remove and free ourselves from the burden of excessive utility bills, which is a high cost issue for many of the people here who are retired and who are also people with low incomes. So we're hoping to be able to do that here today. And later this afternoon at 1 p.m. at Lamar State College, Port Arthur, there will be an Energy Justice Roundtable. The Energy Justice Tour is coming to Port Arthur, and we invite the public to come and all of those who are interested in clean, green, renewable energy for the future of this city, for the future of our country and others. And our guests are just arriving, so we're going to cut this short and we're going to go inside and take it from there while she visits with members of the community. Thank you.
Mr. Brown, you can go.
Oh.
Yeah.
I know. Hello, Mr. Beard. I'm good. How are you?
No, please, after you. You're an important part of the conversation.
Ahead of time. Charisma, who heads our public affairs team. Nice to meet you. And Jasmine, who is my deputy chief of staff.
I want to tell you things. I've been here. I'm a retired educator for Arthur Independent School District.
What level did you teach?
Special needs kids.
Oh, that's so great. Thank you for that.
Loved my job. My husband was a refinery worker. Both husbands lost them from cancer. So now I'm by myself. I'm here. This is my home. This is where I live. I have nowhere else to go. And I want to tell you this. I've been so sick lately. My primary care physician has talked about me moving away from Port Arthur because I recently in February had to have sinus surgery because I've been to allergy doctors, I've been to all different kind of specialists, and the only thing they could tell me is that there's something in the air.
Yeah. Sorry to be late.
Good morning.
So my first question is, from time to time we smell odors. And we know that it's something that we're not used to from these tanks. And we don't have any idea. And I feel, just like the neighbors feel, the refineries should be more, they should communicate more with the citizens, and especially those of us who are living as close as we are to the tanks.
What do you think? I mean,
Yeah. First of all, your home is beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Ruthia. The system, the way it's set up, is that the state oversees and permits these companies to operate. The EPA oversees the state. So we have a tiered system. Federal's up here, then the state, and it's the state that has been granted, by the feds, we have granted them the authority to oversee these companies and to give them permits. We oversee the permit, we review it, we say, okay, well, we don't like this, change this, but the state is the one who is in charge of this. I have personnel that will be on scene, I have on-scene coordinators, the state has personnel and they'll work together to deal with that. But on an everyday basis, it is the state for the systemic issue that you're talking about.
is there a state hotline or presence?
That's what we need to find out. They should have a hotline. They should have a presence. They do take,
I'm sure they do,
They
but
do
we
take
don't
com-
know it.
yeah, we're gonna get that to you. So who, do I have any staff in here right now?
I'll
No.
take care of you, Miss.
Okay, okay, we need to get that number to you. But let me also just say, because I'm for transparency. It's very difficult to manage this number of plans. There's a lot of plans. It really is. And, you know, we actually have, the best enforcement. My region has the best enforcement in the country. We do far more than the other regions do. I wish we could do more. I do. I wish we could do more.
Well, I would just appreciate having a number
You'll
to
have
call.
it. You'll have it. Give us,
There is a
give us 10
number.
minutes and you'll have it.
When you call the number, there's a voice machine. Nobody operates, I live at 5949 Pine. My phone number is, I leave my phone number
No one calls you back.
and never get a return call. So that's not
That's
communication to
right.
me.
And as
Yeah.
the person who oversees the state,
Right.
I can put pressure on the
Oh.
state about responding to your
Okay,
call.
okay.
But it's the state has to fail before I can act.
Right,
Well, that's an issue, right?
Okay. That's an
That's
issue.
an issue, obviously. And I'm wondering, you know, you started by saying, I know you've got a series of questions,
Mhm.
but I just have a question for you. I mean, in your own health, to the extent you can share, is your physician suggesting that your health is related to the air quality?
I go to the allergy doctor tomorrow. I've had all kind of allergy testing,
Uh-huh.
and they cannot determine what it is other than something in the air. For the rest of my life, I have 2 EpiPens right here on the counter that my tongue came out so far out of my mouth one Sunday evening. I came home, watched the news, took a shower, went to bed, went to sleep, and tried to swallow, and I couldn't swallow. My tongue was too big, and I didn't know what it was. So I got up and I went in my bathroom, and when I opened my mouth and looked on the right side, I could see the right side swelling, and it swelled so big, I couldn't even call my son's name. I have him on speed dial, and all I could say was, "Ha, ha," and he knows that the number and mama calling, and he came. He was here. I mean, red light stop signs meant nothing. And we were gonna stop at the hospital, the medical center of Southeast Texas. But I know from previous experiences, you sit in the waiting room at the hospital, that's a wait. This was an emergency. My tongue was out. So the next closest place was Exceptional Healthcare, and he took me there. He jumped out of the car, went in there, got the lady, the receptionist. She came out, and my tongue was wrapped in a towel because you're going out in a public place. Right, it was that bad. You're going out in a public place. I don't know where I'm going, so I grabbed the towel and I didn't know how long it was gonna be, how far my tongue was gonna be out.
Have also experienced health impacts from potentially what the air is raining down on you. Are there other, and I'm just curious about.
Right now, yeah. But that's what they determined I have asbestos.
Wow. And Ms. Francis, any health impacts for your family or you?
Yeah, my son, and I have problems too, but I didn't know it was really what was causing it, you know.
Yeah. So glad that you guys are here.
Absolutely.
And then there's other issues too, safety related to adjacency or your closeness to
Right.
pipelines and to facilities. And I'm just wondering if you or any of you can say a word about that.
But tonight, what am I gonna do? Tomorrow, will I have a home to come home to tomorrow? We never heard anything.
You didn't hear anything, so presumably they fixed the
They
leak, but
fixed
they
it.
didn't tell you.
That's
what
right,
they had
that's
done.
right.
Okay.
And, you know,
Yeah,
being
no
this,
communication
yeah.
back to
once you go outside, you will see how close we are in this neighborhood to those tanks. I mean, you could almost reach out and touch. And when you work all your life and you get to the point where I am retired, you've retired, and this is the part of my life where I'm supposed to be enjoying my life.
Yes.
And I'm supposed to have good, clean air and water, and I don't have that. I feel I don't have it. A neighbor whose husband worked at the refinery 2 doors in front of me, she passed yesterday. And so this is a problem we have. And they tell us when a person have asbestos, they get tested, and we have to get tested because we wash our clothes in the same water, and you know, so it's really frightening. But what do you do? I personally have contacted the city manager's office. I've contacted my District 4 councilman. I've talked to the city council, especially about the clean water that's supposed to be, we pay for clean water in our home, and it's not clean. Okay, I call, get on the phone and I call. I know it's not clean because once I turn it on, turn the faucet on, I look at the tub, and if the tub is white and what I see is brown, then you know it's not clear. When you call, I recently called maybe 2 weeks ago. I was told that we only have one person and they're gonna get around to it. Well, I feel this way. If I'm paying for clean water and I'm paying the city for clean water, why am I going to Market Basket buying cases of water? I don't cook with it, I don't eat it at all. I don't wash clothes because that has to go in my body. I have enough problems already. So what do you do?
Has there been testing of the water?
I really don't know. Honestly, I really don't know.
Has there been testing of the water, John?
They're supposed to test that water and do that, but there's been numerous reports here. And to add to what she said, we've had people that will draw water from the tap, and water has a head on it like a beard, foamy head to it. And it'll sit and settle out, and you can see particles and all in it. So they'll come out and flush the lines, but it's a continuing and ongoing problem in large part because you're putting, as the word would say, new wine in old skins. You've got a lot of old pipelines that really need to be taken up and removed, but instead when there's a leak, they just replace that bad section. Meanwhile, the new section stays there, and the pressure's transferred elsewhere in the pipe, and the old pipe that has a lot of sediment and things in it remains. What we need is help in the system to change lines from one end of town to the other, and then start back from the other end back in the other direction. Not piecemeal, just fixing leaks. And
So do you think it's because of the corrosion of the pipes, or the lead pipes?
some of it's lead, but we did do some lead abatement in some of the city facilities and all, but that still doesn't take care of what's happening in the homes.
Right.
Because a lot of the homes still have, as they're older, they have these problems, and they only get replaced when something happens, such as a leak or
Yeah,
whatever.
it's the service lines that
Right.
homes that need to be replaced, and we have a program for that.
And I have called and invited them, I don't want you to take my word for it. I want you to come to my home and see when I turn my faucet on. What they tell me is that we can't come into your house. I said, okay, I'll get me a clear jar, let the water run in there. And I said, when you come here, I want you to bring your supervisor. The yellow note up on my bar right now is the supervisor's number. Because if you don't have a problem with it, I want you to drink it. I'm not gonna drink it. And it was hot, we were on the porch, and it was hot. He wanted some cold, let me get you some ice. Maybe you don't know that water you're drinking turns into ice. So that's the same brown stuff that's coming out of my faucet that you're telling me, oh, that's okay, I'll get some water later.
You know, we would have to do a study to find out, is it just the pipes, is it at the water plant, is it also at the house? But that would require a study before we would know what infrastructure is needed.
Well, thank you for that.
Yeah.
Any assistance you can provide that would definitely most be
Yes.
helpful. Because this is a citywide problem, especially in older areas like this and inner city areas.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Picture with us.
Yeah, just walking through.
So I need to make some
This is a part of my home
I love
that
this.
I do not enjoy anymore. Because television, table, I sit here, I
Yeah.
love to spend the peace and quietness in the morning. But I can't break the hat. Because it's where I live. Look.
Yes.
If you look to the right here, tanks. This is our close. Right, it's right there. It's that close.
And what's in there?
I have no idea. And this
know
is
what's in the
I
tank
have
now?
I don't know what's in the tank. This is a problem that we as a community have. We're surrounded by these tanks. We don't know. They know, but we don't know. And then they don't come in. Hey, I want you to walk right here. Look at the tank.
And Blackett tells you, based on those numbers of the reactivity,
Yeah.
the fire hazard, and other things on it. But I think what's most noticeable about it is you can see where it's faded out, and it says no smoke.
Oh no, answer the question.
Yeah.
When we first moved here,
Yeah.
all of those tanks were not here. We had the property was cheap. We built our home. People bought land. We
Yeah.
built our homes out here. Then the next thing we knew, we sold 1 tank, 2 tanks, and this tank.
Have they tried to buy you out?
Not at all. Not at all.
So this whole
All the way down.
neighborhood,
Right.
And in that direction also.
Yeah.
you're just like
Surrounded.
How long has your family been in Puerto Rico now?
I retired with 38 years, so we've been here a while.
This generation.
Right.
Okay. Did your kids stay around?
Oh, Lakeside, lives in Lakeside.
Okay,
About
so
a
not
bit.
far.
And he works in one of the refineries.
Right, right.
you get a sensor, some kind of sensing equipment. And, I don't know where that stands, but obviously you need more than one. I mean,
Yes.
it would be.
I've asked for that several times.
Have you? Yeah.
To be put on the top of my house.
So that you know what's going on.
Exactly.
The quality of your. So there
We're
you.
trying to seek funding, Madam Secretary, to have what we call a neighborhood monitoring network, so that homes along here, if they have Wi-Fi and also an outdoor outlet, that we can come in, install that, so that now we have something to corroborate the sensors that are in Port Arthur. Matter of fact, I've been told that of the 5 that are in Port Arthur, 2 of them aren't even working. So that's something that needs to be looked into, and that's
And
kind
where
of been
are?
like an
I mean,
ongoing problem.
doesn't it matter where the sensors are?
Well, it most definitely matters where they are.
So the state has a map of everything on it in terms of its sensors as well as the readings. I've made the argument that there are not enough sensors. There's not enough. Even the federal. I think there's not enough federal monitors as well. We need more because we have more tanks. We have more pipelines. We have more problems. So there should be more.
One would think that you could get more, the industry to provide some of that as well. That could be a condition, perhaps, of permitting. That they.
Yeah, sometimes that is a condition, especially when we go through enforcement. And our enforcement lead will be here in a few hours. She's done some terrific work here in Port Arthur on enforcement. But on the community monitoring, we have, I think it's $3 million in community monitoring grants that we're giving out to communities to put their own monitors, whether it's fence line monitors or a network of the purple monitors that go on the homes. And those lead to like a website where everyone in the community can see what the results are over time. So those are projects that exist. So groups like yours, Mr. Beard, can apply for those funds. Some of them are in collaboration with the city government, or with the state.
But we're definitely doing so. And, but I can talk to you more about information specifically how to go about that.
Absolutely.
Because we do have a relationship working with them, being a former city councilman. But sometimes, they've got a lot on their plate. And that's in part why we started this, to be able to work with people like Ms. Payne and others to help make our lives safe and healthy, as we discussed yesterday.
Miss Payne, could you?
Which symptoms you explain no one understands? Because quite often,
I want y'all
the next day,
when Harvey came. You see how you're going down. This is collapsed underneath the pavement.
Wait, so the trench is no longer under here? So it just sits there?
It goes back here to my house.
I mean, the water sits there, but then backs up to your house?
Then backs up. And I've complained, they've done absolutely nothing.
Well, so on this side,
The water
the
flows
water
to the
flows.
LNG.
So it's just this collapse.
This water comes in this drain and doesn't even go out. I don't know what, this is stopped up in the front. I've complained, and I said, I live here, this is my home. This is all I have. And nobody is gonna wanna buy a house that's
Sharing, so that we can, because it's you, but it's others as well.
as well.
Yeah.
It doesn't just affect me,
Yeah.
it's the whole community out there. And thank you for coming out. And my thing is this, I don't mind doing this, but don't let it go on deaf ears.
Yeah.
Do
I
something.
hear you. That's exactly why.
That's what I want.
I'm just gonna. All right. Very good. All right, we are off to our next.
For terrace.
Yes.